Hi, welcome to Jum-Dam Academy. In this video, I will be teaching you force. So in our previous video, we talked about motion, the various types of motion and the examples of those motions. But this motion, what causes this motion? What causes an object to move from point A to point B? So this thing that causes motion of object or a body is called force. So force causes motion, and when force is applied on any object, it causes change. And force is a vector quantity which is denoted by the letter F, and it is measured in Newton or kilogram meter per second square, but it's just easier to say Newton. There are two types of force. We have the contact force and we have the non-contact force. So the contact force exists when there is a touch, hold, or contact with the object in question. When you say contact force, you have to think of any type of force that involves you touching the object that the force is being applied on. For example, you are pushing a table. You are touching the table, so that is contact force. Or you are pulling a block. You are touching the block, so that is contact force. And this contact force is divided into three. We have like force, which is push. Like I said, pushing a table, you are directly touching the table, that is contact force. Unlike force, which is pull. For example, you are pulling the same table you've pushed. Maybe you pushed it forward. Push is a forward movement, pull is a backward movement, so they are word and opposite. Then we have frictional force. We will see what is frictional force very soon. Then the second type of force, which is a field force or non-contact force. It is a type of force that you don't need to touch something for the force to be exerted, and it exists in or is confined or restricted to a given space or region, and it is further divided into three. We have magnetic force. We know as kids we've played with magnets. You take a little black block of something and you bring it close to something that has metal in it, and it attracts. You see the thing moving. Now the magnet did not directly touch this object, but as you're pulling the magnet, the object is following it, but the magnet is not touching it. So you see it is a non-contact force, that is magnetic force. Then we have gravitational force. The force that attracts or pulls objects irrespective of their mass is towards the center of the earth's surface. We don't see anybody touching us or holding us to the ground, but if no matter how high you jump, you are going to come down. Whatever you throw up, it's going to come down. That is gravitational force. The force is pulling whatever is moving from the earth's surface back to the earth's surface, and it's holding it in place. That is gravitational force. Then we have electric force. It's a force that keeps current through a conductor. We'll explain that further. Then frictional force, which is a type of contact force, is a form of force that opposes or prevents the relative sliding motion of objects in contact with other surfaces. So let's consider this. When you put your hand up like this and you place your other hand on top of it, why doesn't your hand just, you do like this? Why is your hand not just sliding off to fall down? Have you ever considered that? Your hand is like this, it's bent, right? You put another hand on top of it, and why is this hand staying on it? Why is it not just sliding off and falling down? It is because of friction, which is the frictional force. As we said, it's a contact force, but you can see the hands are touching. So that is frictional force. It prevents sliding of objects in contact with other surfaces. And this force is very, very important because the roughness of tire or car, bicycle, if you look at the tire of a car or a bicycle, you can see that the surface is not smooth. So it is rough, and because of this roughness, the tire helps the car and it is able to move, and a car is able to move on the road. If the road is smooth, the tire is smooth, it will just be sliding and there will be no control of movement. Then friction between the feet and the ground. Your feet, the soles of your feet, the under of your legs, if you look at it, you see that it's not smooth, neither is the ground you are walking on. But if you look, for example, you are walking on tiles and maybe your legs are just washed, you see that you are sliding, you are trying to fall. It's because there is no friction. But whenever your feet are dry, so the roughness on your feet and then the ground is rough, you see that you don't just slide like that, you are walking firmly planted. Another example is braking, which allows vehicles to stop or slow down while in motion. So disadvantages of friction: it reduces efficiency of machines. Have you noticed that when a machine has been used time and time again, it suddenly becomes slow, or it doesn't work as it's used to work? That is because of friction. Then heating. As I said, you put your hand like this, you put your other hand like this. When you rub your two hands like this, you see that you create heat. Suddenly your hand is hot. That is friction, and that is a disadvantage of friction. It's an advantage sometimes when you do like this and it's in the cold season and you touch your face and it's cold. But in machines, in cars, you see, you roll a tire for a long time and you touch it and it's hot. Imagine rolling it for a longer time. Heat, it will catch fire. So it's a disadvantage. And then it reduces motion. Sometimes this sliding motion is actually important, but because of friction, it can't happen, it's not going to happen. So it's a disadvantage. It also causes wear and tear. Have you noticed that when you use your slippers, especially all these bathroom slippers, when you use them for a very long time, suddenly it's like the underneath it, it's like it's forming a hole, and it keeps forming that hole, the thickness is reducing until the hole has opened. That is wear and tear, and it's because of friction. So to reduce this friction, we have streamlining. When you have streamlining, we have ball bearing, we have lubricating. Like I said, when you put oil or you put water on something, it reduces the friction. We have polishing. When you polish the floors, you see that you are sliding on it, things are sliding on it. We have banking. I believe you understand everything I've done in this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.